If you guys have a question, I will find it out. I love to research stuff, but I don't necessarily know that stuff off the top of my head. You got to remember, this is a 57-year-old brain we're dealing with. It don't work as good as it used to. Hi, everybody. It's me, Moody Boo, and I am back with another perfume review because it's what I do. Giles, hi, Giles, from Jivago sent me another perfume. He was gracious enough to say, is there something else you want to try? And I was curious about the men's perfume. So he sent me 24 Gold for Men by Jivago. And there's another one. I got another one. Look, I got gold in it. I seem to have a thing about flecks of gold in bottles of juice now. I don't know what's up with that. Or it's just quinky dinkle. That's probably more the case. Anyway, so this is, I did not pay for this. It was sent to me for free. The generosity of Jivago and Giles at Jivago. And yeah, let's get to it. Now, I've been working with this for a couple of weeks now. And I had to wait, until I really got it and had made a decision about it and could review it. So, and I sprayed some on this morning. It's been about 5-6 hours. And it's still projecting pretty well. I would say that it projected best the first 2 to 3 hours. And then it gets about elbow's length, it's out about arm's length into about elbow's length. And it stays there for at least a couple of hours. Now it's starting to come a little closer. But here's the weird thing. This is one of those perfumes that stays pretty close to the body in the deep dry down, but you still leave a sillage. Weird, right? I should do a list. Oh my God, there I go again. Anyway, I should do a list of perfumes, not necessarily skin scents, but light perfumes that leave a great sillage or something. That's really an abstract list, isn't it? Well, we'll see. I'll probably forget all about it by the time I'm done recording this. Anyway, so let me tell you what's in it first. Second, because I've already kind of talked about performance. And to finish off performance, it lasts in total about 7-8 hours for me in cold weather. Now, this is one I think you could wear in warm temperatures just as well. And I'm kind of excited to see how it'll do. And here's the notes for a third time. And this is according to Jivago's website, not Fragrantica. Very simply, coriander, cardamom, vetiver, sandalwood, and amber. Now, on Fragrantica, people say that, well, before I voted, that the sandalwood and I think it was the cardamom, well, amber isn't even listed in Fragrantica as one of the notes. But I think it was the sandalwood and the cardamom. They said they smelled the strongest in here. And I'm like, uh-oh. Here we go again. That's not what I get. Let me spray it again. So when you first spray it, for me, it's all vetiver coriander, which is one of the reasons why I'm excited to try it in spring and summer with warmer temperatures. And it gives it this very bright, aromatic, clean, hint sweet, hint tart kind of a scent at the top. And that's top and mid. For me, there isn't a big trajectory. There isn't a big dry down, a big journey with this one. And it's not linear either. So, but that vetiver, coriander, fresh, clean, slightly sweet tart smell stays for a good half of the wearing, for 3 to 4 hours. And at that point, it truly reminds me of an old school perfume that's been modernized. I just picture a very refined gentleman from the 90s wearing a modern Armani suit when they wear this. Wow, that doesn't make any sense at all. But I'm saying it's a culmination of old school and new school. Because this doesn't smell necessarily like something I smelled back in the 90s or the early aughts. But it does remind me of something I would have smelled back then. But it just is more modern and is something that I can appreciate now. I don't even know when it came out. Uh-oh. I should know more about it, shouldn't I? I know, it's the way I do things. There's some reviewers out there give you the perfumer, the owner. They'll tell you where it was made. They'll tell you how many lilacs went into a batch. And they'll tell you all of the versions of that perfume that have come out. And they'll tell you, I did the best I can. Eventually, I would like to be like that. Be able to answer. And if you guys have a question, I will find it out. I love to research stuff. But I don't necessarily know that stuff off the top of my head. You got to remember, this is a 57-year-old brain we're dealing with. It don't work as good as it used to. So anyway, this is, I think, I do picture, because I picture a masculine personality wearing this, I feel like it is more on the masculine side. Not that any of those notes necessarily dictate that. I have lots of perfumes with those notes in them, but it's the proportions and the way they're put together. It just smells like I would wear it if I wore Armani suits, which I do not. I'm more of a LuLaRoe leggings with a Goodwill dress over the top. That's what I consider getting classy. When the deep dry down happens, when this shifts from the top vetiver, coriander, fresh, clean, sweet tart kind of a situation, and it goes to the deep dry down, you lose some of that brightness and clean because the sandalwood and the amber come in at that point. Now, maybe a little cardamom comes in there. It's kind of a warm spice to me. Coriander is kind of a cold spice. I don't know why I think that, but that's just, my mind. But I always picture, so I like the juxtaposition of having a cold spice and a warm spice in there. But I don't get them necessarily at the same time. So in the deep dry down, I might be getting some cardamom because I'm not getting the coriander nearly as much. And it definitely warms up with that dry down with the addition of sandalwood and amber. It isn't heavy on the amber. I would say it's much more about the sandalwood at that point. And it keeps the sweetness while losing that tart clean kind of a feel it gives. It doesn't lose, it doesn't turn dirty or anything. It just doesn't smell as clean and fresh and sweet tart as it does at the top. At the top, the sweet and the tart are balanced to me. They're pretty equal parts. But once you do get to that deep dry down, the tart backs off and the sweet comes to the forefront. And it adds with that amber and that sandalwood, and it makes it warmer. It makes it more inviting, whereas the top is a little colder. The bottom is much more warm and much more inviting. Now, the top isn't a force field perfume or anything, but it just has this air of professionalism about it, whereas the deep dry down has much more of an intimate feel to it, if you will. This is formal. I just don't picture you going out partying wearing this. I guess the kind of settings you would wear if you were wearing a suit, Cocktails, yes, absolutely, after work kind of thing. Formal work functions during the day for work, absolutely. But I don't picture going to a rave wearing this. Sorry, I don't. This is classy, sophisticated, formal. That's what I think it is. Yeah, most definitely. And once it gets to that deep dry down, that's, I think, where it becomes much more modern. I think the top is where I get a lot of the nostalgia that I picture. But the deep dry down, I think, is much more modern. Yeah, definitely. It's beautiful perfume. Yep, I like it very much. I may put this one on my husband's shelf, though, because it won't be one that I necessarily wear. It's too masculine for me, and that's weird for me to say. Very few perfumes I can say that, but this would not be one I would wear because all I can do is picture a guy in a suit wearing it. So I'm very visual, but I want to see my husband wear it. Yeah, I think I'll be putting this on his shelf. Well, I got to make room. So, okay, it'll stay on my shelf till he is done with one of his other bottles, and then it's going to go on his. And this is a good perfume that teaches me that there are some perfumes that I will find is either definitely feminine or definitely masculine. And that's weird for me. That's a weird thing because I've seen so many perfumes come out in the last few years, especially the last year or two, that are so androgynous that it doesn't matter if you identify as male or female or both or neither. It doesn't matter. You can wear them. So it gives me a little bit of old school, I guess, because this is a male perfume. There's no doubt in my mind. And I think any age would wear this. I think a young man or a young identified as male professional of any age could absolutely wear this perfume. And the price is mid-range. I want to say it's under $150, $125, $130, something like that. And you can get it right here in the US. So, and I like the bottle. I know I don't much care for things floating in my perfume, but I'm kind of starting to like the gold because it isn't coming out on me. I've been testing some of my other ones a lot lately, and it doesn't come out on me. So that makes me happy with it. I just don't want it on me. I don't want spray perfume, run out the door, and somebody at work in better light says, "What's that on your neck?" It looks like King Midas threw up on you. Yeah, I don't want that. But that hasn't happened. So obviously it doesn't shoot out the sprayer thing. And it doesn't clog it either, which is weird. It's all weird to me, but I like it. I like weird. Good sprayer. A big distribution kind of a sprayer. You know, some sprayers are more direct. Oh, that does smell really good. Yep. Vetiver coriander. Anyway, some sprayers have a much narrower field and some have a big distribution that they spray, and this is one of those. So if you want it in a smaller area, you're going to have to put it a little close to get it there. Good stuff. Highly recommend you get your nose on it. Wow. Thank you so much, Jivago and Giles. I just can't thank you enough for trusting me, knowing I'm going to be honest. That is epic bravery, I have to say. But yeah, all right. Well, I think I pretty much tried everything in the house. No, I think there's one or two left, but I'm impressed. It is not a house I ever would have tried if Giles hadn't reached out to me. So I am forever grateful for that, Giles. Thank you, sir. All righty. Well, that is it for me. And don't forget to like and subscribe and ring the bell and comment if you want. If you don't, it's all good. I still love you. Use your nose. Peace. Something different.